Alright guys, hey guys, this is Nick Brown at J-Tech today, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of PMI on the cab and under the hood inspection. Now this part of the video, it might be a two-part video, it might not. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do a PMI inspection on the inside of the cab. Okay. Alright guys, one of the first things that whenever I get up into a truck I typically look at is the dashboard. Just one of the things that typically annoys the driver, or it could possibly lead to a safety hazard. You know, you want to look at the condition of the dashboard. If paint's flaking, of course I can't tell on this one. Paint's actually flaking down here on the dashboard trim. Here's the radio right here. You can't really see because I don't have my light on me right now. But right here, some of the paint's just flaking on the side of the dashboard trim. Let the customer know about that. Just typical maintenance, just to take care of their truck. Okay. Second thing, we're still looking at the dashboard. You want to go by and make sure that everything basically works. Make sure that the lights come on. Got our clearance lights. Got our headlights. Okay. You just want to make sure that everything works. PTOs, anything, regen button. I would only make sure that regen button works unless you actually have to do a regen. On this particular truck we actually do, and I will show that in just a minute when I go and start the engine. We'll also make sure, go ahead and put the truck on, make sure all the gauges cycle properly. We're up on the air pressure. Okay. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start the truck. Start the engine. Alright, first things first. You have a regen required right here. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to want to go ahead and put the truck in regen. I'm not going to show you in this particular video because this is just a PMI video. But that is something to note down on your inspection. You want to make sure that every gauge is working, that you're getting oil pressure, that you're getting the right amount of oil pressure for the engine, that you're getting coolant. This particular engine is warmed up a little bit, it's not up to full temperature. Make sure you're getting voltage from the alternator, fuel. Gotta have fuel to make this thing run, obviously. Tachometer. Just all around, make sure your gauges work. Okay, make sure your windows work, make sure your locks work. This lock does not work. I'm hitting the unlock and lock button, guess what? It does not work. So I'm going to go ahead and note that down on my inspection. Alright. I'm going to keep the engine running for you guys. I have a light up here. Bear with me, guys. Can't really see the dashboard. Alright, next thing you want to do is grab the shifter. You know, just make sure it's obviously out of gear as the engine's running in the parking position. Okay. Next thing you want to work at, go ahead and flip on the sleeper light. I'm gonna go ahead and do that for you guys. Alright, so we got a sleeper light working back there. Now we're gonna go back to the sleeper. If I can get up out of the seat. Alright, we're going to look back in the sleeper and we're just going to make sure that nothing's bent or broken. This one has holes in it. Alright, you could recommend that this panel be replaced. Just typical maintenance on a truck, just take care of it. Because these trucks, they see about 100,000 miles a year. Definitely don't want the truck falling apart on you in any kind of way. Alright, there is a little bit of vibrating back here. I'm not going to show that because you guys can't see that in the video, unfortunately. Let's go ahead. Alright, back to the driver's seat. Typical cab inspection. One of the last things when we're talking about safety here, The purpose of these PMI inspections is plain down safety, guys. Safety, safety, safety. Safety is number one, okay? So one of the things you want to check are the seat belts. First things first, okay? This seat belt, the passenger side seat belt, pull out far enough. Shoot, if I can get it to lock. See the seatbelt's locking. Okay, so that way, basically how a seatbelt is supposed to work is whenever you get into an accident, it prevents you from going forward. It locks up in the locking device down into the door panel down there, or next to the door panel, and it locks and basically prevents you from going through the windshield. Okay, that's I don't want to get too technical with that, but it does prevent you from going through the windshield whenever it locks like that, and it can lock at any position. Okay. Now this particular seat belt right here on the driver's side does not lock. As I can see, I'm pulling on it really hard. It's not locking. It is not locking. What I would do is I would definitely replace the lock down in there next to the door panel. Right down there. Shoot, I can't see it. You cannot see it in the video, but there is a lock down there. It's actually just in a little black box that can be lifted up. Get the lock replaced. And that would make it seatbelt functional again. Okay, and one of the last things you want to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shut off the engine. Okay, now as far as your lights go, the DOT recommends that you have at least 23 lights on these trucks. Now, we do not have the truck hooked up to a trailer. You're going to want to go outside and make sure just every light works, okay? This particular one, I've already done my inspection on. I do know that the only lights, well, actually, every light worked on this truck. The clearance lights, fog lights, the cab lights, just every light worked on this truck. If any light is not working on this truck, it's considered a hazard. Okay, if this truck were to ever get into a wreck because somebody, what's to say, did a head-on collision with it, if a light wasn't working, that's something that they could use against you. Okay, so definitely want to take a look at that because that's part of a safety concern. Okay. Any other safety concerns? Seats, definitely seats. You're going to want to make sure that the seat goes up and down properly. This particular one, as you can see, it's going down because I'm letting the air out of it. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because you just want to create a comfortable environment for the driver, so that way the driver doesn't become basically uncomfortable to the point where it will affect the truck, or will affect how he or she operates the truck. Okay, so it's just one of those things that you want to test and be careful of. Okay, guys. Also, I want to make sure that the horn works, obviously. And that's it. Alright, the horn works. Our city horn works, and our other horn works. I do not suggest using the other horn that I just used. It's pretty loud in the city. There's a reason why we have a city horn. Okay. Now we're going to go into our under hood inspection. Okay. Now, last things last on in the PMI in the cabs inspection, guys. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. I said it once. I'm going to say it again. The safety comes first, guys. Definitely check the seats, check the seat belts, check and make sure that all the lights work. Check and make sure. I didn't get this in my video to make sure that the parking brake and the works properly, and that the brakes are just working properly, period. We didn't get a chance to drive the truck around the lot, but I could not show that in my video. But with that, that's part of your inspection. That's what you want to test. Okay, make sure those things are functioning properly. So with that, here comes on to part 2 for the under hood inspection.